Call's coming quick, so take another sip, steal another kiss, throw down the tip. Let's leave this place and see what we can find. We can call us a cab, we can call it a night. We can call it crazy if crazy's what you like. Yeah, we can sit right here, get out of town, watch the sun come up from a Waffle House. Whatever you want, girl, it's your call tonight. As long as I can call you mine. It's that cover band song calling your name.
I think
One
we're live.
more dance, that's what it takes. I'll spin you around till they kick us out. We can call us a cab.
All right, so welcome aboard, JB Aaron.
How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
Wonderful, it's been a while.
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Above the Covers. And the concept of this program is going to be a weekly look at original musicians, the venues that allow them to play original music, and generally the temperament and tone of this area. And when I talk about area, I'm talking about Southern Ontario, included with that, with Western New York. We are a border region. There's a lot about us that people are aware of in terms of our food, our sports, our events, etc. But we've got some really talented people, and I'm honored today to have someone I think is among the most talented, not only around here, but probably anywhere. JB Aaron, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real honor to welcome you.
Thank you so much.
So tell us about you, let's start with. Tell us your background.
Well, I've been singing all my life. People ask me, how long have you been singing? When did you start singing? I always say I started singing when I come out of the womb. Who knows what was going on inside?
Other babies cry. You were hitting a high C. I love it.
But, music is my life. I started real young. I was an Elvis impersonator for a while, years ago, in Vegas for a couple of years. Did that and had the old ladies pinching my cheeks and started doing a little bit of blues stuff and finally, worked my way into country music, and that's where I found my niche was country. I love country music.
Well, hearing your voice, it lends itself to the richest part. And country music is a rich part of American history. It's part of the American music story.
And the fans are incredible. Country music fans, it's almost like the Bills Mafia. So,
it's a good way to put it.
They're fun, they're wild, everybody has a good time, and I'm happy where I'm at.
But it's meaningful music. I recall reading an article back in the 90s, and at the time, the two genres of music that were growing substantially at the time were country and hip hop, and it's because they are both lyrically based. Country is not just good music, but the lyrics touch us in ways emotionally, patriotically, a whole bunch of different genres or ways.
People can relate to it.
Right.
A lot of it. Whether it's a slow song, a fast song, they can sing along to it. And there's a lot of different meanings, to a lot of different songs.
And everyone knows what it's like to have friends in low places, right?
Absolutely.
I've heard you do that. And yes, you do cover tunes because some of the places you play require some of that. But boy, when you covered Garth Brooks, or I hear you doing anyone in the country genre, it's strong. What was your first gig? What was the first time you stepped out on stage and delivered?
As far as country music?
Anything, your first gig.
Anything, my first gig. Oh man, that's a long time ago, Pete.
Oh, come on, I'm way older than you.
First gig is like a full band or just
anything? The first time you went on stage and said, and at that moment you realized this is what you're not only what you want to do, but what you're meant to do. But what was that?
I guess when I was about maybe 13, I would say 13, maybe even younger, 12. I was doing when they had the Festival of Lights in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
And I did a show down there with a group called Rich Blend. I don't know if you ever heard of them or remember them.
They're a vocal group.
Yeah.
I actually was talking about them the other day.
Incredible.
Yeah, I had them do a dinner theater for us.
3 of them are from Canada.
Yeah.
And Chuck Barassi is from Niagara Falls. But what a great group. And they got me into doing some stuff, and it was just so much fun, And I think around that time was when I knew, this is what I need to do. I need to do music. I need to entertain. I need to sing. And I love it.
I think it's where you're at home. I mean, I see you. I'll give a different professional take on you in a little bit, but that was your first gig, though. Rich Blend of all things, and I was talking about them the other day. They did a dinner theater for Christmas for us, and they're like the Manhattan Transfer, you know, just this really gifted group.
Great group.
And as you said, Rich he's from here.
Yes.
So here's another talented guy that comes out of this area. I know that, you know, we've had our share of good artists, but how do you break, you know, the question's going to be, how do you break free from Niagara Falls or Depew or Hamburg? How do you break free to get into the mainstream market? And there's a lot of those questions going to come your way and other artists on this show. But that was your first gig, and it was so cool. What about your first song you ever wrote?
First song I ever wrote. It was probably Wrap Your Love Around.
How old were you?
This is maybe going back 10, 15 years ago.
Okay. So you've been playing a bit, and then you started to
I wasn't much of a songwriter. I mean, I wrote some things down. I did a little bit of doodling with some songs, but you know, the Wrap Your Love Around was a song that I wrote, and didn't do much with it, but it's a good song. I mean, writing songs is you got to be a songwriter to be in the music business too.
But I've read a lot of your liner notes. I've been listening to you for a while, and you've contributed to a lot of the songs you've done. Mm-hmm. And as a contributor, that makes you a songwriter. Someone else may have a key idea, but your contribution, I think, is what makes it uniquely you.
True.
So, you know, I was going to give you that take on your career. So this past summer, I had the opportunity to get up on stage when JB was playing at a fundraiser for one of his brothers. And I did some flute, and then they invited me up to play bass, which is one of the other instruments I play. But something hit me as I was up there, and I got to share this with you, is that I've been around a lot of pros. I come from more of a classical theater orchestra background. But when I got on that stage, I realized there's very few people in this area that I've ever seen understand what it means to be a band leader. And you have that. When you're on stage, you make your intentions clear. You've got great rapport with your players. You're focused, and you know where you want them to be. I'm not saying they're all perfect all the time, but that's really different than a group that stands up there and just does a cover song. And well, look, it sounded enough like Seals and Crofts, so there you go, you know. But that's really another one of your gifts is as a band leader, it's what makes you an entertainer.
Well, it does, but I mean, you know, I can't give myself all the credit either. It's not just about me. My band actually, you know, gets a lot of credit because they're great musicians. They do great work. They play really well, and they're just all around great guys, you know. And when you have a band, you have a family, you know. So you work together all the time. You practice, you rehearse, you learn new material. You're constantly talking to one another. But those guys are the backbone.
Shout out to Tom Brown.
Tom Brown.
I think
great drummer.
One amazing drummer, like really strong.
He's like a big brother to me. So
is he? I had the joy of playing in a band with him for a couple of years, but you got busier, and his focus, which is rightly so, his focus was with you.
Don't be trying to get him back.
Not me. No. I'm focusing on the multimedia arts right now. But yeah. And your bass player, is it Dennis McMullen?
Dennis McMullen.
Oh,
he's from Hamburg.
Yeah. We talked about Hamburg.
Great guy.
That's how you get out of Hamburg. You join JB. No, Dennis is supremely talented. Did he ever show you pictures of his pedal board?
No.
He used to have a pedal board. Now, for anyone who's watching who doesn't know what
stories are coming up now, Dennis, pay attention.
Yeah. I thought I just heard a car crash. It might have been Dennis. That's our heater in the back. So anyway, Dennis was a bass player. Now, bass players, we generally use one or two effects pedals on our bass. I've used a compressor. That's just to keep the sound balanced. And there's a couple of other things, an equalizer. But guitarists use pedals to create effects to their sound. And it could be everything from wild echo or reverb down to to something that makes it sound like a weasel in a grinder. Sure. But Dennis had this effects board, and it must have had 60 effects on it. And I thought, I felt inadequate. You know, I was the guy in the gym locker room who realized, oh man, that's way bigger. But he had all these effects pedals. But what he told me, or he shared with me about playing with you, is it's not the effects pedals or anything like that any longer. The experience with you has been an upgrade for him. So that's been really cool. Musicians get better when they play with better people.
Are you sure you're talking about Dennis? Because Dennis hasn't been with me that long. I don't know if he had any effects pedals or not. I don't think he did.
When I knew him, like about 10 years ago, we worked together at Geico.
Oh,
So he
okay.
showed me all these effects pedals, and he was playing with a couple of bands, and he was really proud of his effects pedals because each of them would contribute to an overall sound he was getting, etc. But
Wow.
the change for him in playing with you is, I mean, it basically took the training wheels off his life. And there he is playing with you and realizing that the bass itself is both a necessary instrument and strong enough on its own if you play as well as Dennis does.
Well, he's a great player, man.
Yes.
He's a damn good player.
So we'll put him down for $5 for that compliment.
Right.
Okay, Tom Brown will give a pass.
$250.
So, okay, the local scene. Now, we're talking here from Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls, Buffalo, Western New York, where you play now. What's your take on our scene?
You know, Niagara Falls has a lot of great musicians in it. Buffalo, you know, all around Western New York, there's a lot of great players here. And some of them don't get the recognition that they deserve, you know, but it's tough. It's tough everywhere you go.
Sure.
You know, whether you're playing in a new venue or a venue you've already played before. And, you know, I mean, I think that could we do bigger things here? Yeah, we can. You know, it would take a lot of sit down with different people and, you know, try and make stuff work. But, I mean, there's a lot of great bands and a lot of great players here.
I mean, I could think of Bruce Wojcik and Jamie Holka. Just great guys.
There's a bunch of different ones. You know?
And with these great musicians, though, you've got that difference where, I mean, you go out on any given night, and for the last few years, I was playing the club circuit here in the cover bands, and this whole attitude towards covers is not anything of bitterness. It's that I've seen good players who do their own music and they're afraid to do it live because it'll lose the audience. But we also don't have a lot of venues that welcome that.
Well, that's the thing. You know, I mean, of course a musician would like to share his own material. You know, that's what you're not there's bands I'm sure that love playing cover tunes.
Right.
You know, but when you got songs that are yours and you want to get them out there, that's your goal.
Yeah.
You know? So a lot of times you will come across a venue that may not want original material because they're used to the cover tunes and their crowd appeals more to the cover tunes because they can sing along to it. They know that song. They can dance to it. They know a line dance to that song. You know, if you're a country band, stuff like that. There are times where venues would allow, you know, a few or a handful of original stuff, you know, which I play a lot of stuff. I do a lot of original material.
Right.
But I guess it's just, you know.
But I think you can do that, A, because you are a band leader, because you could entertain. And secondly, watching you in every setting I've seen you do covers, I've seen you do your own. And you are part of what sparked us wanting to do this show and why it's such a, I'm thrilled you're the first guest we have. Because whatever you do, you deliver it entertaining. You know,
that's what it's all about. You want your crowd to have fun. You want people to come back.
Right.
You know, you want people to appreciate what you have to offer, the music that you're playing. And from what a lot of times, most of the time, that's what we see. We see people enjoying themselves. We see people dancing. We see people singing, not only to cover songs, but the original songs too. You know,
right.
People are like, wow, I really like that song. Well, good. Share it with your friends. You know, and next gig, if they bring, you know, a couple friends, now their people like that song. And that's what it's about. Sharing it on social media, sharing it on websites, sharing it with your friends, sharing it with other musicians. You know, I mean, that's what you got to do. It's got to get it out.
And that's the point, though, is that a lot of bar owners are, or the venue owners are apprehensive, if you will, because they don't want to lose their audience, etc. I don't know if you heard, but the mayor of Niagara Falls made a proposal a couple of months ago about a performing arts venue that he would like to see located down by the falls.
Yes.
Man, artists like yourself
that would
be
open up a lot of stuff for a lot of people.
Oh, we've like when I'm out on tours, I do some tours with a really good little company called Niagara Regional Tours, and I meet lots of people. A couple of weeks ago, I met a guy who was really passionate about country music, and I sent him to your Facebook page. I said, we do country here, like Niagara Falls? Yeah. The thing about country is, if you play, whether you play original or cover, the style of music lends itself to dancing. If you do line dancing, I'm sure many of your songs could be used in that.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
but I love to see the. Oh, don't forget, we've got a call-in number here, and my guest gave me a great reminder on that. Let me find that for you. But it's 716-359-6170. If you want to chat with JB, if you want to offer him your take on his latest show, or complain he didn't buy a beer, you know, and we'll fix that. But and many of you in the comments, make sure you let us know. We'd love to have JB come in and do an acoustic set, maybe with a limited part of his band at some point, and we're fully equipped for that. But boy, that would be fun to do. But so the local scene is one thing. Where else? Like, what areas? I know you go to Nashville a lot. You do a lot of your recording there. What other areas? Like, tell us about the next gig, the gig you have coming up in Wyoming, and some of the places you go. Where, how are you received, and what's it like to go out and play your own music to a bunch of people who never met you?
Well, you know, I've traveled all over. I've done everything from the East Coast to the West Coast, North, South. You know, we leave tomorrow morning for Wyoming. We have a big show at the $1 Million Cowboy Bar. We're doing 3 nights there, and that's a great place. Everybody you know, I think, has played there.
Just by name. Does it have the chicken wire in front? No.
No, it doesn't have chicken wire in it. It's not like Roadhouse. But it's a great place. The bar stools are saddles. So, you know, you just saddle up and you drink your beer. I mean, it's great.
Oh, that's fun.
But, you know what? It's a great place to play. It's probably one of my favorite locations in the country to play. It's Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It's called the $1 Million Cowboy Bar.
Oh.
And then next month we're in Indianapolis at a place called Checkered Flag Tavern. But, you know, when I travel to these places, some are small, some are big, you know, some are small crowds, some are big crowds. But we always have a really good time. We always have a good time.
Well, first of all, you wouldn't do it if you didn't. But
that's true. You have to do what you love.
And you're received well, like.
Yeah, I mean, everything usually pretty much goes over. I mean, I've had people that don't even like country music. You know, if they come to the show, they're like, "Wow, you know, I'm a real hard rock fan. You know, and you guys did a great job. You know, you turned me into a country fan. You know, somewhat. You know what I mean?"
Well,
so,
there's another thing.
That's my goal. I just want people to enjoy themselves and have fun and take them away from normal life for a little while. You know what I mean?
And here's a guy from wherever you're a national recording artist, so you come from all over America. But no matter what, you show up in Indianapolis, you're still someone from somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Who connects with them there.
Sure.
And that's the beauty of music is that when someone comes from another place. Music is an international language. It doesn't require that I know your neighborhood, so to speak.
Well, it's funny, you know, because I tell people ask me all the time, well, where are you originally from? I said, Niagara Falls, New York. That's my hometown. It's just, wow, you do country up in Niagara Falls, New York? That's probably a big hotbed of country up there. I'm like, well, you'd actually be surprised because Western New York is huge in country music. And if you come up there, you'd actually be happy to see that.
I'm going to have to show you a song one day. In fact, I'd love you to do a quick recording of it. Not now. But it was Trying to Be Country at the Great Niagara Falls. Sing this nation's true heart music where the water stands so tall. And so anyway, this song, it mentions John Deere. It mentions all the fun stuff. But it reminds people, Niagara Falls, the whole world comes here.
That's absolutely.
And
there are some people that haven't made it here yet.
That's right. And when they come, if that performance venue is there, you're one of the very artists, and we've talked about some of the other talented people that we really hope will get a chance to perform there and show our stuff, which is nice.
Yeah.
So you travel a lot. You go to Nashville quite a bit. I mean, Nashville's energy alone is phenomenal. I've seen some of your messages to your brother, and when you're down there, and it's like it's like your home. It's like where you belong. You know, your energy is all there. What's your favorite place to play in Nashville, or do you have one?
I mean, I don't have a favorite. I mean, there's a handful of bars that I love playing at, but there's 140 honky tonks in Nashville. And with those 140, there's probably like 110 or 115 stages down there. So you can play pretty much anywhere, you know. But there's so many singers and so many musicians and so many people trying to do the same thing. You know, it's different. You know?
Yep.
It's not like up here where you can just book a band at a venue. Down there, it's just musicians running every which way, trying to get to where they got to go.
And are people? I would assume people are a lot more discerning as an audience.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not at that quality, I heard a recording of you, and if you'll grace us with it when you come back, I heard a recording of you sitting in with a blues band or a couple of blues players.
Yeah.
And your brother played it for me. And it was like you had spent 60 years of your life with these guys. And, you know, it fit in. But we both know that professional quality musicians fit in with anyone. If they, you know, or they know when not to fit in or where it won't. But that's wonderful, because I'm seeing a lot of growth in your music. You and I have talked a number of times about like me being from Canada, and you've made fun of that, and that's okay. Yeah, show your ginger ale.
Canada.
Hey, look at that, eh?
Canada Dry. Gotta have.
Yeah, it is Canada Dry, especially when you take away our beer. Anyway,
shout out to our brothers and sisters. Over the bridge.
I wanted to see you go to the Southern Ontario market, and we do have a standing invitation from a place called Saugeen Cedars, which is a park up in Ontario, up in the northwest part of it. It's a few hours away from here. But we're hoping that when COVID lifts, you and I will talk about getting up there and doing at least one appearance in that area, and seeing, because in Canada we have country artists as well. We have Katie Lang, and we have Dennis Grady, Shania Twain, yes. A lot of the Ian Tyson became a country artist. There's just a lot of them up there. And Paul Brandt was another one who had sort of a career that touched into the U.S. But Canadians are very, especially rural Ontarians, are really endeared by American country music.
Sure, absolutely.
And you know, you bring that up there. So we got to see you get to Canada. And we got to follow your career so people can see that. I don't know if we have any comments on this yet. Let's just.
If you got any questions. I don't know what that number is again.
716-359-6170 plus tax, because it's New York. I know.
716-359-6170. If you got any questions or anything, I'll do my best to answer them for you.
No, this is fun so far, because we're going to touch in on some of your music right now. Let me see where that is. Oh, you shared that one. So forgive us, folks. It's the first time we've done this off this page, and we're excited. We're seeing, and don't see any comments yet. You can make comments, but I guess it's hard to know what to comment on when you're, you know, if you're a fan of music. This is not meant to be removed from you.
Sure.
It's not meant to be something where this is for musicians to speak, because you could get a group of musicians together. We're all going to talk about how much better this drummer would play it. But you know what's funny? We grew up in different eras. I'm 62, and you're 106. No, you're much under than me.
Time.
But Garth Brooks was interviewed one time in Rolling Stone, and I love the quote he gave, was that he grew up in the 70s, and so did I. And in that era, FM music was the go-to source of music. The 60s were more AM, and it was pop music, singles-oriented. And it was
You guys had the old 8 tracks back then, didn't you?
I had 8 tracks. I had a John Denver 8-track.
Oh my God.
I know, I'll never forgive myself. But what Garth Brooks said was, in the 70s, you on whatever station you were listening to, you heard everything. You heard country, you heard hard rock and soft rock, and you heard folk, and you know all the different genres. You'd hear, and when I remember in the 70s, you'd hear Marshall Tucker Band. And you'd hear bands like Ozark Mountain Daredevils. The Eagles lent themselves to a lot of country. And there was this great diversity. And then radio got more specific. You've dance music, you got hip hop, you've got so much. But have you noticed there is a blend now between hip hop and country music?
Yeah, it's called hick hop. So, and one of my good friends, Cowboy Troy, he is a hick hop artist, and you can actually see it says hick hop right on his pages. Oh. And he's actually the rapper for Big and Rich. Cowboy Troy. Yeah. So, and they're great. Great guys, great people. But Cowboy Troy's got a great album. If you haven't heard his stuff,
no, I'm definitely going to check that out.
There's different people, trying to do that. They're mixing the like hip hop, the country rap with country music, and it's working.
Yep.
I mean, people like it.
Oh,
I haven't tried it yet, but I'm looking into maybe.
Well, like I said, when they said that country and R&B, hip hop are lyrically oriented music, so they do make sense. To see some type of merger.
That's what brought me to this, this new CD, which if heaven has a back door, it's different stuff, and it's stuff that I wanted to do something different because I'm so used to like the 80s and 90s country,
right.
2000s country. I love that stuff. Your Daryl Worley, your Joe Diffie, your Daryl Singletary, your Brooks and Dunn,
Alan Jackson,
all that stuff.
Chattahoochee's a great kid.
I said I want to do something today's music, so I got with the producer that did this with me, which is Kent Wells, and he produces Dolly Parton and Reba McEntire and a lot of other people. And I said I want to go kind of like top 40, but I still want to keep it in that country realm. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to go too over the top.
Right.
So he sent me a bunch of music, and we listened to a bunch of different stuff, and the stuff that he sent me, I'm just super happy with, and there's some great songs on here. And the first one that we're going to play for you is a song called Call You Mine.
Yes.
And the players on here were outstanding. Just a lot of great players.
So I'm going to pop that song up and see if I can't keep us both up on this. It almost sounds rude. I'm sorry. But I had that right on here too. But I don't normally do this operating the studio from out here. I work in the control room and they lock me in and make sure I'm fed, etc. But no, it's really cool to hear this, to hear the work you've done. And this was one of the songs I wanted to point out that I see you really growing on. I see your voice transitioning. You've always got your country and western voice. You've always got, I hate to say country western, but you've always got your distinct, strong, engaging voice. But this was one of the songs, and I've heard others, that you started just taking a little bit differently, a little bit more edge in a different direction.
And that's where I wanted to go. I wanted it to be different. I wanted to be today's music, because that's where everybody's going. Like all the country artists, most of them are trying to, do this, because that's what the people are listening to. That's where everything's going. We still want to keep the country music. We want that country music to stay. We don't ever want it to leave, but things are changing. People are doing things different. And I'm like, well, I want to get in that game too. I want to, start doing something different, especially for me.
Right.
Why do the same thing over and over and over again?
And you've done...
In some people's minds, they think, well, I've already heard that. I want to hear something different. So
exactly.
That's what we did. We made a different CD. The title track's called If Heaven Has a Back Door. If you don't have one, get yourself one. You can get it on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Play, or from me. Or from Pete.
Yeah, we'll have them here.
Or from my website.
You know what I'd like to suggest? I'm going to play Call You Mine, and maybe we'll set something up where we'll have an intimate concert. We talked about this once before when you came to our old studio. And I would love to have an evening where you maybe want to bring another player with you, just so it's a little bit fuller.
Sure.
But having... Wait a minute, where's this one coming from?
No idea.
Oh, there it is. Okay, let's close that one. That's for later. That's really weird. Wow, because
it's not me.
I have no...
1970.
Oh, you know what? That was a video that played off Facebook because everything's active out here.
Oh.
So, but yeah, we could do.
Wow, I did not do this in 1970.
We could do something like that where we could make, we'll serve a little, some beverages and we'll serve some snacks and we'll make it an evening, interactive, intimate, and you can pick a charity or something. It could be,
that'd be great.
It honestly could be the JB Aaron to Florida Fund. I mean, that's fine by me. But no, let's play, what was that song? Call You Mine. And again, this is one that I noticed was immediately showed the strength and the and the range of your voice and how you're growing that way. So we'll play that, see if we can get an image up for you as well.
Girl, I call it like I see it, this is what I see. The world's looking real good, looking at me, and I see that fire burning in your eyes. Last call's coming quick, so take another sip, steal another kiss, throw down the tip. Let's leave this place and see what we can find. We can call us a cab, we can call it a night. We can call it crazy, if crazy's what you like. Yeah, we can sit right here, get out of town, watch the sun come up from a Waffle House. Whatever you want, girl, it's your call tonight. As long as I can call you mine. It's that cover band song calling your name for one more dance. If that's what it takes, I'll spin you around till they kick us out. We can call us a cab, we can call it a night. We can call it crazy, if crazy's what you like. We can sit right here, get out of town, watch the sun come up from a Waffle House. Whatever you want, girl, it's your call tonight. I just wanna call you mine. 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 Girl, I call it like I see it. This is what I see. My whole world's looking real good, looking back at me. Yeah, let's call us a cab, let's call it a night. We can call it crazy, if crazy's what you like. We can sit right here, get out of town, watch the sun come up from a Waffle House. Whatever you want, girl, it's your call tonight. Let's call us a cab, let's call it a night. We can call it crazy, if crazy's what you like. Yeah, we can sit right here, get out of town, watch the sun come up from a Waffle House. Whatever you want, girl, it's your call tonight. I just wanna call you mine. Yeah, I just wanna call you mine. Girl, I just wanna call you mine. I just wanna call you mine. Oh, I just wanna call you.
That was something else. I love that.
It's a great song. That song there was written by a few guys by the name of Larry McCoy, Justin Morgan, and Josh Melton out of Nashville. And what great lyrics, just telling her, I want to call you mine.
It's a great story, and it's a great interaction. You do, I love that. People do connect with that style of music because you're not. It's not wasted lyric.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that's how they wrote it. So it wasn't a waste. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a great written, well-written song. Great lyrics, great melody. Hell of a production.
What's it like to interact with writers like that when you're, have they heard your version of this, for instance?
Yes. Yep.
And I'm not going to ask you if they praised it or put it down, but
No,
they give you
I got
feedback?
Great feedback.
Great.
Great feedback. Great feedback. And they're all great people, you know, great people. So
it looks like we're trying to find out who. Looks like people are watching us on the Under the Covers
Well, I hope.
or Above the Covers. We were going to call it Under the Cover. No, we were. It was actually called Under the Covers, and people kept going,
ginger ale for you.
sounds like a little. No, I'm drinking water, but sounds like a kind of a porn site. I said, well, we wouldn't have covers. We'd probably have like different lubricants. I don't know, but. But that's bad stuff. Yeah, I'm off this whole thing. I'm getting you the link. If you're looking for the link for this, I've got it here. I'll put it on a screen page. But you could just go to YouTube and search JB Aaron. You don't need
Above the Covers. It comes right up. It's
Above the Covers.
Down.
Excellent. Well, that'd be wonderful. But if you want to hear that entire album,
I shared it on Facebook so people could see it.
we're going to play another cut of it. But so, I mean, I've heard your other recordings. I went through this. I heard some of these recordings at your house one day when I came over. You were working on some artwork, and I had a chance, and that was when I was really blown away by the diversity. What was your favorite song to record on this?
You know what? All of them.
But is there something that comes to mind about recording one of them that, you know, like people are very interested in that. The songwriting process isn't just.
I think my favorite one is If Heaven Has a Back Door, because number one, it's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Great question. And it's just an all around awesome song. But they're all great songs. Like Red Light on here was a song that the songwriter wrote about his wife and how he met her at a red light.
Oh wow! I listened to that tonight because it's here in my notes, as you can see, that it was one of the ones that really stuck out for me.
Steve and Arliss wrote, Steve Boyer and Arliss Alberton wrote "Living for the Summertime." And that's, you know, just a song about summertime. I mean, obviously it's a little chilly right now, but, you know, there ain't nothing wrong with living for the summertime because everybody lives for the summertime, you know. And they're just all great songs, and I'm just super humbled and honored to be able to work with such great songwriters and the guys that were on this album, you know. And one of them that I'll give a shout out is a good friend that plays with Brooks and Dunn on pedal steel, Gary Morse. He's on here.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's some great players on here. Kent Wells actually produced it, like I said. He also played acoustic guitar. It was the engineer was Benjamin Bynum, and
what was the studio?
Kevin Willis. The studio was Dark Horse Studio, which is where Reba and Dolly
Yeah.
record a lot of their stuff. But so many people have recorded there. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't got a copy yet, get yourself a copy. We'll get you one if you need one.
We'll make sure we have some here if you want to pick one up sometime.
Absolutely.
And they're really worth it. It's a diverse, at least from my point of view, it's a diverse album. It's not something you listen to and think you know, where every song sounds the same. This really has diversity. It has mood changes and a lot of emotion in it. So, I mean, it's why I was so glad you were on here with us, is that original music is meant to have that. I mean, I've played with bands where we can make 500 Miles sound like the Proclaimers.
Sure.
And we can do any song, and some people strive to make it sound like the original artist, and other people strive to make it sound more like their interpretation, which I like either way. I mean, I have nothing wrong with cover tunes, but then original music to me is a throwback, and it's a throwback to the 1960s and the 50s. I was born in 59, so I didn't go to many clubs in the 50s. But you would go to the clubs in England, and you would see the Rolling Stones. You would see the Beatles playing before these bands broke big. You'd see any band you can think of. Elton John broke at the Troubadour in L.A., and the write-up he got is what propelled him into stardom. But these are clubs that specialized in artists, up-and-coming artists. The Bitter End in New York, all these places.
Oh, yeah.
And in these clubs, people don't come in and get mad because they haven't heard old-time rock and roll yet or Brown Eyed Girl. They don't mind Brown Eyed Girl, but if they hear stuff, what they want to know is, who is this artist and do I want to listen to them anymore? And so in this case, folks, this album really does get there. And I really encourage you, and we'll play more of it. In fact, we'll playlist it on our radio station. We have an internet radio station. We've had it since last April, but we won't launch it until this April. But we'll make sure it's playlisted, and it'll become a regular thing. I'm hoping to get JB to help out and do a weekly, JB's picks or whatever, and play a set of music you think is hitting.
That'd be cool.
And it really is fun. So your next gig is, of course, in Wyoming. Have you got anything lined up in this area?
We have a couple acoustic shows that we're going to do, some intimate stuff, and then at the end of the month, we're playing at Soliday's Restaurant.
Speak of
the
devil. So you're playing, ladies and gentlemen, this is a moment for all of us to enjoy. All right.
Looks like my bass player.
Hi, you've reached the bass pedal hotline, where if you have 60 or more pedals, your bass is welcome. Oh, hang on a second there, Dennis. We got to make sure we got you. There we go. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I just wanted to call and wish you both well in this endeavor. Two of my favorite musicians together on one YouTube show.
And me, don't forget.
Dennis, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, brother. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Listen to his voice, doesn't he? He's got that awesome voice for radio.
Yeah, he does.
You're live on the air.
Yes.
Dennis McMillan.
Yeah, Dennis, did you hear us talking about you earlier?
No, you know what? I tuned in late. Shame on me.
Good. We're okay.
Glad thing. I'm glad he didn't hear it.
But
it was all good stuff.
So what's
I'll
it like?
catch it on the rewind.
So what's it like for you, Dennis? You can give us a great perspective. You've played with a lot of different bands as well. You walk in a few months ago with JB. This is a whole. You told me that you didn't even like country music, or at least it wasn't a genre you listened to, and now you're playing it, and you said you were enjoying it. What's the experience like playing with JB?
So not only am I enjoying the music, but I'm enjoying the learning process. Coming from rock and roll, and heavy rock,
right?
You get stuck there. It's almost like you live in the minor keys and you don't really go beyond that. And this has taught me to be a better musician, because country doesn't just live in the minor keys. There's minor keys, there's major keys. And even some of the things that I've noticed are some of the country songs that are written in minor keys to the bass player. You're still doing major key walk-ups or walk-downs, things that just don't ever happen at all in rock music. And so it's really forced me to be a better musician. But beyond that, playing with JB in particular, I'm going to make a reference here, and it'll all kind of circle back. So I've always been a big fan of James Brown. I love funk music. I like that whole genre of music, soul and R&B. But what I've always loved about James Brown is that it's unpredictable, and it's live, and it's in the moment. And he was a band leader, right? So, and you hear it in the music, it wasn't scripted. When you hear something like Sex Machine, you hear the song, hit it and quit, bum, 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 you're done. Mm-hmm. And he's giving instruction to the band. And in a lot of ways, playing with JB is like that, because we'll be playing and, the song has a certain structure, but there might be cues, whether it's verbal or even nonverbal. Then we know, take it again, take a solo, take it back to the bridge, take it. And it just makes it fun, because no two shows are ever the same. And, as a musician, you get to, kind of have fun with it, right? It's not like you're just pressing play on, a CD and you're going from point A to point B, the start to the end. Right. And that's that.
It's unique.
These songs take on a life,
It's interesting. You weren't listening earlier, and my comments were very similar about JB being a band leader. I had a chance to play a couple of songs with him one time, and I really felt that. And now there you are. You're on stage every night with him. And wow. So are you heading to Wyoming as well?
I will not be. Unfortunately, I've got some other commitments back home, but I'm sure that, whoever's filling my shoes has much better shoes to fill anyways. I mean, I'm not a bass player. I just play one on TV, you know.
Come on, Dennis. You're a hell of a player, man. I'm glad to have you aboard.
Dennis he's a hell of whatever he does. I met him at Geico, and he had a great work ethic and was just very great. Like, I was in a supervisory role for a while, and he was so, like, whatever he tackled and went after with passion. So that's a good one. And you're surviving playing with the beloved Tom Brown?
I'm sorry, Peter, can you say that once again for me?
That once again for me. Oh, sorry. So are you surviving playing with the beloved Tom Brown?
Oh my goodness. He what a great drummer he is.
Oh.
He's so incredibly consistent.
Tasteful.
And, yeah. I mean, and he's got chops for days, you know, and just when you think it's, you know, a sleepy little chorus or whatever's going on, he pulls out some, you know, paradiddle followed by a triplet with his foot. And you're like, what the hell did you just do?
And he's in the bathroom doing it. Yeah.
And it's cool because you'll be at a point where you think he just pulled everything out that he could think of, and then bam,
there's more.
Way more.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, hey guys, I don't want to steal the show here. I just wanted to call in and say hi, so I'm going to hang up and listen. But
that's okay.
I want to wish you both the best.
We'll have you on sometime and definitely get you out here, Dennis. I miss you, brother. You're a good friend.
Absolutely. Hey, Dennis.
Miss you too.
Good to see you, man. I mean, hear you.
You're good hearing and seeing you too, brother.
Take it easy, bro. I'll see you soon.
You got it.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dennis. Well, there, we spoke of the devil.
See that?
Jessica Meacham, you know Jess, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, and she says you guys are doing a great job, so she must be talking to the guys working on her siding.
Thank you, Jessica.
No, thank you. This is fun because music has been my life for 45 years, but I consider myself passionate about a lot of different things within it. But I also I've always enjoyed watching other musicians and seeing them succeed. You know probably as well as anyone. First of all, why am I still wearing these? But you know as well as anyone. Sometimes, like any, hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Back in the day. Yeah, what do you call a deaf guy who hangs around with musicians? A drummer. Anyway.
Poor Tom.
I know. I told him all those jokes. But yeah, he's a good guy. But one of the things that happens with musicians, like anywhere, if you talk to listen to hairdressers talk, or listen to bricklayers talk, or whatever anyone does, sometimes a lot of times people get together and they just they criticize others. Musicians are no different. But what I've never been afraid of myself, and I know you've been very open about musicians you've heard, that sucks. Well, that's pretty good too. Is that if someone does well or someone's ascending to success, that doesn't diminish my life. So I'm excited for them. I want to see people succeed because a rising ocean floats all boats.
You're always going to have somebody that doesn't like something.
Right.
That's just the way it is. But if you're an original artist, or even if you're a cover band and you want to do original material, write it, sing it, play it, perform it, share it, get it out there, because that's what it's about. Get your music out there, let it be heard, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what people are going to say. Everybody has everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and it is what it is.
Right.
Original material needs to be heard. That's why we do it.
That's why they have menus in restaurants.
Right. That's what makes a musician. Not only that, but our fans, they want to hear stuff like that. They want to hear new stuff. Yes, there's a lot of people out there that want to hear stuff that they've already heard. Of course, I do too. I want to sing some songs that I know that I've done back in the 80s or 90s or 2000s, but I want to do new stuff like this CD, If Heaven Has a Back Door, and all the stuff on it. This is a great product. And I'm not just tooting my own horn.
But even when you shared it with me about the title track and some of the others, you want that. What was that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, yeah. Tooting your own horn. All right. Well, we'll get a whole horn section.
But
you were talking about that CD, and what I can tell you want to go across, and this isn't meant to be flattery. This is meant to be an objective view. what you want to come across is not that, listen to how great JV is, more so is listen to this great song. And the emotions, the things you felt. I mean, that song Boots you did, that connected with people in so many different ways. That was
Especially
wonderful.
vets, you know, military. You know, that's what that song's about. You know, my good friend Bobby Peace wrote that. He wrote Red Light, Red Light. You know, and he's got a couple other ones that I'm going to talk to him about maybe working on, and want to get some more of his music up there, right, Bob? But yeah, I mean, it's original material is key. You know, that's you just got to do it. I mean,
Right.
Don't be afraid to put your songs out there. Don't be afraid to let people listen. You know, don't be afraid about something different, something new.
I just recently I read an article on Paul McCartney and how, you know, Paul McCartney, when he plays a concert, he has an amazing catalog of what he can play.
Yeah.
The Beatles, Wings, current stuff. And he announced to the audience, I know you all want to hear the hits, but I really want to play you this song. It's from his new album. And he played it. And it was almost, he wasn't being apologetic, but he was making it clear, like, I want to play this. And that's basically, you don't want to come and see me be a puppet. You want to come and see me be a musician. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's a boldness that's good in what we do.
Sure.
And when you were growing up, what artists did you really like?
Oh, man. Well, of course, I loved Elvis. But I mean, one guy that sticks out in my mind and also on my arm is the Man in Black, Johnny Cash.
Oh, yes.
You know, everybody loves a little Johnny Cash. And another one that I liked was Ronnie Dunn from Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah.
Hell of a voice. You know, those are the guys that I looked up to, that I aimed my performance to be
Your
like,
sights
you know?
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's cool because.
Garth Brooks.
Oh, yes.
What a performer, you know.
He puts on those marathon shows,
Oh,
you know.
man.
It's
incredible.
You know, the big thing about music is getting your money's worth. And I know I'm the guy that goes back to the 70s, but punk music, for instance, I wrote a thesis on what punk music was. Punk music was a reaction to the fact that you would pay all this money to sit a half mile away from a band like Queen or whatever, the Rolling Stones, and this was the concert environment. And whereas the punk movement got it back into the smaller venues. And you see that with a lot of artists now, is even the biggest artists still enjoy playing moderately sized venues where they can see everyone.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
Billy.
more intimate. It's
Yeah.
more, you know, closer together.
I heard that Billy Joel buys the first few rows at his concerts at where the Mets play in New York City. He plays there, I think, every month. And but he buys the first few rows and then gets his staff to give them to people who are up in the nosebleeds and bring them down, because he was tired of people sitting down there like bored because we're in these expensive seats and we should, you know, and that's pretty cool, you know.
That's cool.
So
It's very cool.
so this is exciting. I mean, you've really made this fun. You've
This
let
is
me.
awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna close out. What were we gonna close out with? What would you like to play as the
If
song
Heaven
we
Has a
leave them
Back
with?
Door.
Okay. Oh yes.
Title track to the CD, If Heaven Has a Back Door. Get yours today.
And I just want to see in the liner notes, where am I thanked? No, not at all.
And we just want to give a special thank to Mr. Peter Green
Oh,
for having
thank
me
you.
up here today and all his knowledge and craftiness.
Yeah, it's been fun for me. This is all sassiness. No, this is all a big departure. COVID hits. I had thumb surgery a couple of years ago that limited me on some things I was doing. I said, I want to learn something new. So I got involved in audiovisual. And I mean, audio, I've been recording since the 70s. I used to be a session player in Toronto. But I love doing this because it's exposing me and the audience to a lot of new
I'm a little more sinner than I am a saint. Old man in black and old King James. Got drunk and I did some time. Not a way to spend a Friday night. But I'm fighting like hell to get better each day. If heaven has a back door, imagine a boy like me on them gold brick streets in a black Ford, bumping them tents while the angels sing. I know we all fall short of the glory. I hope Jesus got a light out for me. Slip in real quiet, tip my hat to the good Lord. If heaven has a back door. Met a girl, bought a house, got a baby on the way. So what, we got married just a little too late. Mama said we might have jumped the gun. Daddy said we were way too young. Everybody's always got something to say. Heaven has a back door. Imagine a boy like me on them gold brick streets in a black Ford, bumping them tents while the angels sing. I know we all fall short of the glory. I hope Jesus got a light out for me. Slip in real quiet, tip my hat to the good Lord. If heaven has a back door. And those pearly gates, man, I bet they shine. But I ain't sure I'll see them when I die. If heaven has a back door, imagine a boy like me on them gold brick streets in a black Ford, bumping them tents while the angels sing. I know we all fall short of the glory. I hope Jesus got a light out for me. Slip in real quiet, tip my hat to the good Lord. Yeah, if heaven has a back door, imagine a boy like me on them gold brick streets on a black Ford, bumping them tents while the angels sing. I know we all fall short of the glory. I hope Jesus got a light on for me. Slip in real quiet, tip my hat to the good Lord. If heaven has a back door. Yeah, if heaven has a back door. I'm a little more sinner than I am a saint. Old man in black and old King James.
You ever wondered what actors and actresses do when they have to get in shape really fast for a movie? Because I can promise you, it's not the same diet that you're following and the same training plan that you try. The truth is that Hollywood's elite actors can get ripped